The older man mounted and turned to the other. "Are you coming, or does your brother call your shots?" The sting went home. "My brother can go to hell," Barse replied angrily. He mounted quickly and rode after Belton into the fading light. In the early spring twilight, Trinity sat on a log above the swift stream, waiting for a lover who was always unreliable and late. The murmuring stream mirrored the fading rose and gold of sunset. A mother duck with her brood paddled under the overhanging foliage. Late birds twittered sleepily in the tall trees. There was a fresh, damp sensation in the cool air. Behind her were distant sounds from the Spencer ranch where she lived, and from beyond that, the low roar from the town of Denison, more than usually raw and elemental this spring night by reason of the railroad construction camp on the outskirts and the arrival of trail drivers and cattle herds from the south. Looking southward always fascinated Trinity. It was from the south that she had come, and from there the future vaguely called. A wide gap in the dark line of trees opened to the vast wild Texas rangeland. By day and by night, when she waited at this trysting place, she seemed to see down to the Trinity River, where she had been found abandoned as a child and rescued by these good Spencers. They called her Trinity, and nothing had ever been learned about where she had come from, nor who she was. She remembered long rides in wagons, endless plains of waving grass, black herds of buffalo, camps and fires along dark rivers, fierce bearded men, gunshots, and the blood-curdling war cries of Indians. A dreaming, brooding loneliness spread south from the stream, and never had the beauty of that Texas land struck her so poignantly. Purple dusk moved silently from the wooded stream bottom over the undulating range toward the golden afterglow of sunset. Almost, Trinity preferred the peaceful and wild unknown Southland to the tumult and trouble of the Spencer Ranch and the wide-open town of Denison. The distant noise of that town brought her mind back to Barse. He had changed, there was no denying it. The lovable, gay, thoughtless, improvident boy had taken to evil companions and a dissolute life. He resented her talking about it, too, and more than once had turned on her with stubborn violence when she brought up the subject. And yet there were flashes of his old self, like the time he had insisted on buying her that expensive dress. She had been thrilled, but when she asked him how he had got the money, he had become angry and defiant. It worried her. "I feel like Barse's mother," she thought. "He's a little, irresponsible boy." Then her thoughts turned to Bruce, as they had more and more lately. He was so different from Barse, tough, hard, and serious, with a reputation as a buffalo hunter, trail driver, and, yes, a gunman. Trinity wondered at the talk she had heard of Bruce's prowess as a gunman. She had not seen much of Bruce until lately, as he had always been away hunting or trail driving. But in the last few months he had come to the ranch often, more to see her, she knew, than to see her parents. And in spite of her affection for Barse, there was something solid about Bruce that she found very appealing. The last time he came, she remembered with a pang of guilt, she had almost let him kiss her. And even now she found the idea disturbing and exciting. No, he couldn't be a killer. But her duty was with Barse. She had to try to get him to change his ways and settle down. He needed her, and if he promised to straighten out, she would marry him. She knew that Barse was not going to come tonight, so she left the riverbank and picked out the familiar trail through the darkness. As she crossed the meadows, the grazing horses lifted their heads to snort. Horses had played a large part in her life. Few of the boys could outride her. Then she remembered that Barse was one Texan who did not own or love horses, and she suffered a pang.